So today we are going to talk about the mole people. And let's just loosely say that the term mole people is considered extremely offensive. It creates an us and them situation, and they don't really like to be called mole people, but we all have a fascination, and mole people makes it sound more exciting. So these are also people who just live in abandoned tunnels and subways and things of that nature. How do you feel about that, Sarah? Does that make sense to you?
Well, it does. Actually, there was this documentary I watched before going to Vegas once, and it kind of freaked me out because I had already been to Vegas a few times, and then I seen this documentary, and it was about the mole people. Now, every time I'm walking down the street in Vegas, if there's like a grate, sewer grate, I'm like scared to even look down there.
So the same
Or
thing
through a
with
cigarette.
Ron and I. We came across that documentary after, we go to Vegas almost every year. We got married in Vegas, so it's just kind of our thing. And I saw this documentary and I was like, holy shit. And then the problem with the Vegas mole people is they get flooded out a lot. Did you see that?
Yeah, and I think I've actually been there when it happened, but they say like everybody just floods out of the sewers when it
And they
happens.
use all their stuff. Because some of them have they have this loose knit organization under there. Like there's rules to living in the tunnels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they they expect certain things, right? Because there's fights down there. People are territorial. They are homeless. So, but some people have beds, makeshift showers, and everything. And I just could not believe. I was like, how sad! Like you're homeless and you've saved up this bed and you have clothes, and now all of a sudden here comes a fucking flood and takes all your shit away. It's terrifying. I
would make mine above the ground, somehow, but then again,
you'd be a
fear in. But I still think all of them, because I did watch one where they had a whole house. But it is scary because it seems like they seclude or section off based on gang or drug of choice, which is kind of crazy.
It is really weird. But I think if I were to be a homeless person in today's day and age, it would not be in the north. I always told Ron, I was like, if we were homeless, I would make my way south. No doubt about it. There's just no way you can be homeless in the frigid cold.
Yeah. So, I mean, Vegas, I expected to hear and think that just because it's warmer weather. But I guess New York City, there's a big issue, or I guess not as big, but yeah.
So, when I looked it up, there's a summary that was done in 2023, and it was estimated that over 2,000 people are living underground in New York City currently.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Lot of people.
That is a lot.
So they said, I don't know if this one's still open, but the Freedom Tunnel, which runs under Riverside Park, is one tunnel where they used to live. But they also live in the city's subway, railroads, and sewage tunnels, like the Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And I did, when I was researching the topic, I did see where in the East it was huge with the tunnel living, and they were living where basically they closed down the railroad, or the train didn't go anymore. But then the cops cracked down and kicked them all out.
Yeah.
I did see there was this guy, Walter, rest in peace, Walter, but he ended up, so there was a journalist that years after they were all kicked out, he went down to check it out, and some people had made it back, but then he ran into this guy, Walter, and Walter had been down there 20 years. He died in 2012. But he lived in the tunnels still, but he had his own town. They literally came together and built, not only the structures, but the rules and things like that.
That's crazy. When I was researching this, there's a lot of YouTube videos on this. And one was a gentleman, I want to say his name was Carlos. He came from another country and he's living in a tunnel. So you walk into the tunnel, and then you see a hole in the ground, and it's like a sewer hole, what you see in the city or the neighborhoods where you have the sewers that pop up. And he ran electric because, in those tunnels, they have light. I don't know how they have lights, but somehow He took an extension cord and he has a computer down there and everything. And he ran it to an electrical box in the tunnel. So he has his own internet and he can make food down there. And he goes, I never worry about food. Grocery stores always throw away expired items. He goes, if it's expired, they'll throw it away. It still tastes good. And I'm like, way to be resourceful, buddy.
Yeah. I seen one where they like had a system with a cart for the water, like Culligan water containers. And I mean, it's just crazy. Some of them were really well decorated for being a sewer. And then you heard their stories, which...
It's really sad. It is really sad. But at least they're finding a place to go. This Carlos guy had said that the police knew that he was in there. Like, the police know they're there, but where would you rather have him be? Out in public in front of, public restaurants and stores, or living in this abandoned tunnel stealing electricity from the city? I'd probably rather that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, because remember that one story about it was a storefront or a restaurant, and the guy was hosing down the lady because she wouldn't leave from in front of the store, and she smelled really bad, and she was rude. So it's not like she was a pleasant homeless person.
Right.
He told her to leave. He did trespassing things. She wouldn't go, and he just started hosing her down. And not that that's right, but, what are you going to do? I mean, the police won't take her away. They have nowhere for her to go. She won't leave. It's such a dilemma.
Yeah.
But that's not a mole person.
No. That's true, though. Some choose to stay above ground. Some choose to stay underground.
I think I want to be underground because I wouldn't want to be seen and judged.
Yeah, I couldn't, but you'd have to come out. But at least you have that safe space to go to.
Yes, and not be like gawked at.
Oh, I couldn't be the one laying on a bench. That's for sure.
No, I mean, maybe at a certain point, if once you start getting used to it, I'm sure, like anything else, it becomes the norm. But yeah, that's crazy. Oh, I didn't realize New York had so many. I always had heard Las Vegas. So in Las Vegas, in the summer of 2024, it's estimated that 1,000 homeless people find shelter in the storm drains underneath the city. So they're calling them tunnels, but are they really tunnels? Are they all storm drains? Because I think most of them are storm drains.
In Vegas, all I know is there is a specific, I forgot, I thought it was Hurrah's parking garage, but there is a specific parking garage that you can get to the tunnels from. But there's several others. It's like, have you seen one of the documentaries where it shows you like a neighborhood and then you just walk in?
Yeah.
So,
and they actually have tunnels underground so people can easily walk from like their neighborhoods to the other side of like, say, the expressway. And like people were being murdered in these tunnels at one point too. And just saying.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd go just walk in a tunnel and be like, hey,
right.
I'm just trying to see what it's like down here. Like,
yeah.
No, there's stories too. People get raped, people get murdered, people get in fights, you get stole from, like all that stuff.
It's nuts. So there is the documentary pertaining to Vegas, and it's called Beneath the Neon. And the man who did this documentary also founded a nonprofit called Shine a Light Foundation that helps the homeless people in the tunnels by providing supplies. So if anyone ever wants to help and you're out that way, Shine a Light Foundation is probably a good first step. But there are so many documentaries about the ones in Las Vegas, and I cannot look at the people that do the, all the skits and the dances and stuff at the side of the street the same, because I'm like, they're probably going home to a tunnel now.
Yeah.
It stresses me out.
And I believe that would be obviously the weather in Vegas. And then in California, they do a lot more, I feel like, for the homeless than they do maybe in Vegas. So
probably. You were talking more about that, and with your sister living there, she might have more information. I don't know much about, but I know like Skid Row area is a huge problem. And I think you and I wanted to go into like a more of a conversation about homelessness.
Yeah.
Especially after the 2 children died in Detroit that froze in their car from being homeless.
Yeah. So, I did see contradicting information about the mother on that.
I'm sure.
She was like out at the clubs before the funeral, I guess, twerking and things.
Well,
another day. But
Yeah,
that's heartbreaking no matter what.
I would like to say not all homeless people are probably raised properly and maybe don't have a good moral compass, if you will. But I'm sure
Yeah.
there's others who do. But it's such a tough thing. And that's what they say about the homeless population, that the first thing is providing them stable shelter and then correcting the other situations like drug addiction or mental illness, like that kind of stuff. Because they need to feel secure where that they have a place to go and live. And there's whole communities for homeless people out there that we've come to find out. You don't have to live in the tunnel.
Right. I feel like people choose to live down there because they choose to live a different life than they should. So I think that's why they stay down there, because they know they don't want the help that they need. Basically, veterans, I was shocked to read that there's quite a few that are veterans that because of, post-traumatic stress disorder, whatever they have, PTSD and just addiction. I feel like it's drug addiction, gambling, obviously. I was trying to see, there's probably somebody that's been successful that lives down there now because of their problems. They lost their whole life.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about the tunnels, but I do know I watched a documentary about a guy, and he was some sort of engineer and extremely intelligent. And he said, the price of living out here just got so expensive. He carries around a tarp and he'll sleep, almost like underneath an overhang of a building. And then he'll go to this place where you can pay per shower, almost like truck stop-ish, you know what I mean? On the road where you can pay for a shower. And then he'll go into work and no one has any idea. And when you see him, he looks very professional, but he's like, I can't do anything about it. I cannot get ahead. And he's like, and there's not a lot of help out there. That's just depressing.
Yeah, but I could see that happening. I mean, some want to be out there, some don't.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when I think of the mole people, it's funny. So the first thing I looked up, it showed this half human, half mole crawling out of this dirt hole. And they said, and that's kind of why it's romanticized homelessness. And they say this is what intrigues us. And that's kind of how the term mole people came about.
Is it? Yeah, because I had no clue that's what they were called. Because mole, you don't even think, automatically you're not going to be like, oh, that's the people that live in the sewers, Yeah.
So in Los Angeles in 2023, side of this Japanese American museum, the security guards caught on camera a guy lifting up one of the grates in the ground, and it was a utility vault where they store, the electricity units and things in the ground there. And they saw him going in and out, and they called the cops. I felt kind of bad. I was like, who cares if he's roaming around underneath the ground of your museum if he can't get in, right?
Yeah.
But they took him out of there. They locked him out. And so I just think it's quite innovative of them to look for shelter in these different areas. I do find myself saying to Ron sometimes. In fact, earlier today, we were looking at a part commercial building. It's commercial and residential. The bottom was a business, the top is a rental. And there's this cubby area. And I was like, if I was a homeless person, I'd be right there. I'm always picking out good spots just in case.
See, I'd be too worried that somebody'd see me in my good spot and I'm too weak. They'd just beat me out of there and take my spot over.
Well, it was hidden by two garbage cans.
Hey, Deb.
Cherise, if you want to go.
For a meeting of Toledo trashies. No,
it is. Got to keep your options open. You never know what's coming your way.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. And then, so do you have any documentaries you want to recommend about it?
I actually, the same one that you had said, basically go Google the mole people. You'll find a whole bunch. I think that while I was researching, I found out there's more than I've even watched. It's been quite a few years since I looked into this. And that's why I was like, this would be a good topic because there's people that have no clue.
But there's mole people.
Now they're going to be in Vegas and they're going to be like, well, don't wear a dress over that grater.
I walked by this one over by we stay at the Venetian a lot, and I was wearing a dress and the air came up out of it. And I was Marilyn Monroe, but not.
I know what you're saying.
See this ass.
I don't like standing over them because I'm always afraid I'm going to fall through it anyway. But
I don't like walking on them either.
I've probably hit somebody with a cigarette, though.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. That'd be awful.
I always put them in the sewers.
You're a terrible smoker.
I know.
I've never done that because I don't smoke. You need to stop.
I know. I'm working on it.
Okay, good. Keep working on it. I know Jennifer Toth wrote a book in 1993 called The Mole People, Life in the Tunnels Beneath New York City. And she kind of just goes into how it's a new, loose-knit, organized society. So I think that sounds kind of interesting, kind of tells you a little bit about their way of the world. And I guess they did say in New York City to steer clear of the tunnels around like spring and summer. They said a lot of times there's large turf wars over drugs and gangs, and the homeless gangs are out of control apparently in New York.
Yeah, that's crazy. I bet, though.
It is. It's something I never think about.
The documentary you first told us, the Vegas one, was that a Paul Vatronaut or Valtronaut? Because there's a guy named Paul. He used to live in the tunnels. And now he's a husband, father, and runs the foundation.
It might be him.
Actually, no. Here's a documentary, Dark Days, Bright Night.
So The Dark Days is a 2000 documentary by Mark Singer, and that's supposed to be a really good one.
So that must talk about the guy Paul that actually had a success story, because I did want to know that. Like, is there anybody in the tunnel that gets out? So go Paul.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how I'd feel to know that I was that person, and now I can use that to help people that are somewhere I once was. So that's cool.
Yeah, I cannot say enough about that. I mean, I don't know too many people that make it out and are successful because it's too involved. It's scary. It's Matthew O'Brien. Matthew O'Brien is the one who did the documentary about Beneath the Neon and founded the Shine a Light Foundation. And he just did a lot of research. He definitely was not homeless at one point.
Did you watch the one? I don't remember which one it is, but it's like a couple that came from Hawaii. They actually live in the tunnel in Vegas. But he admitted, like, he was on the documentary basically saying, we're addicted to drugs and I'd much rather be down here. But he came to the U.S. because he's running from the police, the law in Hawaii. So I don't know, but I don't think they were drug addicts till they came here to Vegas. Then they also gamble. So those people that live in the sewers, a lot of them still have gambling addictions and stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. When I'm sitting in a slot machine, I'm really loving it, and I'm just thinking I'm going to win it in a minute.
I'd be like, where's my free slot play this week? Like, you would think you could make a living off, like, free slot play, and then if you do get money and gamble and win, hopefully you get comps.
I mean, you would think. I mean, when Ron won that money in Detroit not too long ago, I swear to you, there was a whole system of people in there that live in that area, like, watching us. I have never been so paranoid in my effing life. Like, if I ask you for a check for my winnings, don't hand me thousands of dollars of cash. And they're like, calling each other, looking at each other, watching us. And I was like, oh my God, we are going to get robbed on the way to the room.
Yeah, it is scary, and it's happened. I'm sure that's happened.
Well, the only reason I was so paranoid is I remember this kid one time, and he's like, someone tried to jump me outside in the elevator, take my money. I was like, oh my God, are they all watching us?
Do you think there's tunnels in Detroit? Like, I didn't see anything about Detroit.
So I had to do a lot of research to find underground tunnel system. Do you know there's one in Cleveland? And in the Cleveland tunnels, they're underneath the Great Lakes Brewing, and they were built in the 1800s. I didn't see anything about Detroit, but I can almost guarantee,
somehow.
Like, same here in Toledo, everywhere. We have tunnels, we just don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
And another intriguing thing about tunnels is one time I read this book, and it's called The Quarry Girl. And it takes place in St. Cloud, Minnesota. One of the girls dies, and they're young, and they're not supposed to be in the tunnels. Because what it is it's an old factory town that when you go down to your basement, there is an old door that leads to tunnels, and the tunnels lead to the factory where all the men worked. So that way they didn't have to walk outside, to get to work in all the snow because it's too cold. So it made sense for the time. I mean, way to keep people out of the elements and still get them to work. You buy a house, you get a walkway. But they would explore the tunnels in the summer, and this is fictional, but the tunnels are real. And a girl was murdered. But that was just a fictional book. Really good. But the doors really do lead to tunnels that led to a factory where people would work. And I'm just thinking how many of these things are around, that we're just unaware of. Like any town that was built to, house people around a factory probably has something like this, built back in the 1800s.
Did you know Whitmer has underground area and the kids used to party down there? There was couches and things.
I did not know that.
You didn't?
No.
So the older generation there's more. I don't know enough. I'm just bringing it up, but you'll have to look into it. But yes, there is. They used to go down there and smoke pot and stuff. And then the older kids, probably maybe like 10 years ago, did like a story on it. And they got to go down there. So.
Oh, that's cool. I do know, so my husband's about 6 years older than me. And he went to START. And when the YMCA opened up over there by START, Ron was talking to the lady when we were doing the tour to buy the membership. And she was like, yeah, there's a tunnel. Well, Ron goes, is there still a tunnel underneath here? Because, we used to sneak in and run around and stuff. And she showed us where it was. And she goes, yeah, it's still here. It's so crazy that these schools have these underground areas.
Yeah, I want to go down in one.
Me too. I don't know.
Not alone.
Built for like a bunker. But I would love to be like a tunnel explorer, if you will.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to call this? A tunnel explorer.
You could be a tunnel hunter. They're all over downtown.
I think that would be so awesome.
Yes.
And I do know that there's this, it's called Groundwork or I don't know, .com or something where it tells you about different underground tunnels. So they're all wiped out mainly by like fires because they were built in like the 1800s, but they have them in Dallas, Texas, Seattle, Indianapolis, Kansas City. Cleveland, like everywhere. You just don't know about them. And Ron was talking to me about the Detroit tunnel, the subway system that used to be there.
Yeah.
Ron and I wanted to go to the Eloise. Have you heard about Eloise before?
Yes, I have. I forget the details, but I know I looked it up.
It used to be, a place where the homeless would go or the mentally ill. And there were all underground tunnels underneath there, too. I think it would be the coolest thing ever. So if anyone has access to underground tunnels, we would like to be there.
Yeah, we want to get in them.
Yeah, we don't want to become mole people, but we want to temporarily visit.
I'd try it for a weekend to see how it goes.
I don't think I'd make it a night, if you're looking at me and you're like, you're going to have to go poop in that corner over there, it's probably not going to happen.
Did you know I can't even do it in a bucket.
Yeah, I can't even go to the potty in the house when my husband's home half the time. It's just weird. I couldn't.
When we were kids, I was really little. My dad took us on the boat and we went camping for the weekend. Well, I didn't know he took us to some abandoned right off Lake Erie.
Okay.
And the cops came and yelled at us and we had to leave. But then I was like, how do I go to the bathroom? And I'm little, but I remember because I had to dig a hole and do it all outside. But it was fun.
I've never done that. I would not work well in those conditions.
Now that I'm older, I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. My dad took us to this illegal island for the weekend and we camped. But yeah, I didn't like the bathroom part.
Ron was telling me there's an island off of Detroit. Like when you're going to Detroit to go downtown, towards the casinos, because that's apparently all I know.
Is it Belle Isle or whatever?
Not Belle Isle. I've been there to watch a race, but it's and it's owned by, I think, a company now or something, but someone went missing. I think it's the island where the Boy Scouts were all raped. Do you remember that? They did a whole documentary of Children of the Snow. And I think the island was sold. I don't know. I'm just very intrigued by that. Who buys an island?
Yeah. Well, there's people.
Yeah.
Epstein.
Yeah. There's definitely people. I wonder if you were on Turtle Island. I've heard about Turtle Island. I just don't know what it is.
Actually, it wasn't Turtle Island. I don't think you can go on that one. Maybe.
Well, you obviously couldn't go on the one you were on either.
Well, I mean, I think it's like the way it's structured.
Oh.
I don't know. But it was a different island. I don't know what island, but
okay.
I miss it.
We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. I remember one time we were fishing. I used to always go fishing. This is off subject. But then my dad was with his buddies, and this boat is coming by, and they're all naked, butt naked.
Why?
And they had banners on, like they were running for Miss America or something. And my dad's like, turn your head. And then all his friends and him are like whistling and clapping. They must have been coming. Now that I'm older, I'm thinking it was like a yacht full of cute people that were leaving Put-in Bay. So that made sense. But yeah, it was like a whole boat of naked people.
Like
naked.
Or like straight men just being
like they were like posing like Miss America on this yacht. It was like 2 stories, and they were all butt naked and had just a banner, like a sash on. And they were men.
Remember the name of the boat? We could research it and find these people and be like, what in the hell were you doing?
I wonder, my dad probably was too busy to catch the name of the boat, though.
Yeah, that is funny.
Did you know that there was a porn star that lived in the tunnels? She must have got addicted to drugs, I'm assuming.
You know what they say about assumptions.
Yeah, her name is Jenny Lee, also known as Stephanie Sandora. Sorry, we can say her name because it's public record.
Yeah.
But she was a former adult film star for Vegas, and now I don't know where she is today, though. I couldn't find much information. Hopefully not in the tunnel.
Well, they do, but that was one thing I was reading about a lot, like that people drown in those tunnels when they get flooded, and some people die of drowning. I don't know if they're like passed out on drugs or something. They can't fend for themselves, or I don't know what. But how do they do that? I wonder. Like, hi, there is someone dead in the tunnel next to me. Will you come and get them? Like, is that a thing?
I don't know. I never really thought about that. I do know that they have little cubby holes, that there was this girl, as rape is obviously a big thing down there and stuff like that. Like, it was just a little hole in the concrete, like a sewer, but it had no end. And she would go in with her feet first, because obviously you don't want to go legs first, because people can get you. And I was like, I would be so claustrophobic. It's literally like you're in one of those MRI machines, but it's a concrete.
Like hole? Just because so what, she went in legs first so she wouldn't get pulled out and raped?
Yeah, because, if your head's first, you can at least try and go down, and they can grab a leg more than I guess they could grab your head, but I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't think I'd be cool with that. So another cool area where they said there used to be mole people. I don't know if there still is mole people, because it sounds like they made it into a museum, because in Canada, they had the Moose Jaw Tunnel, and it says now they're a museum. They were once used by Al Capone. And he would, during Prohibition, smuggle the liquor into the U.S. through these tunnels in Canada. The series of tunnels were once full of shops, bars, factories, and homes, and it just sounds really cool. I don't know if they still exist, but I mean, it reminds me of like when you go to Vegas and there's that one mall underground underneath Caesars.
I did not even know.
I think it's called the Forum Shop. Yeah, and it's really cool, but how cool would that be? I would love to go on a tour like that underground and see an old city.
They say there's a lot of that going on, like bunkers being built in UK and Bristol. It says they have cave dwellers there.
I'm sure.
Is Colombia the ones you were talking about? Because they have them in Romania and Colombia.
I know Edinburgh in the UK. They have whole underground systems there. And I think that would be really cool. But yeah, they're all over. I was reading something about Jamaica has them. Like the Jamaicans that are outcasts go and like live in the caves underground because they can't afford to live.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I bet you every country probably has this. It's just another form of homelessness and them just being resourceful.
Yeah, in the did I already talk about that? The 19th century, New York City had the Swamp Angels.
No.
Which were sewer gangs.
What were the sewer gangs like? What were they a gang for?
They would commit crimes together.
Okay.
So they could somehow from the underground get to like safe and drill them out from underneath the ground to their stores so they could rob places.
Okay. That's
interesting. And then Bruce Lee of Eucharist in, I don't know where that is, but he was a man with a Bruce Lee King of Sewers tattoo. And he led the whole community of orphans. This was in another country, but I don't have it in my notes. So just look up Bruce Lee, King of the Sewers.
So, that's silly, but it is interesting. And I do want to get more into that because I just feel like there needs to be some kind of transformation here in the U.S. with the homeless community. I just don't know what, because you don't want to live next door to homeless people unless they're well adapted, because you want to make sure that they're clean, they're not bringing the bugs, they're not riddled with drugs. I mean, you don't want those kind of people living next door to you, unfortunately. So that's part of the reason it's so hard. So where do you want them? I mean, they can't be out in the elements. You don't want them hanging around the businesses you own. So what do you do? So I don't know. I feel like there's other countries that do this so well. The Netherlands and Finland, and there's just a bunch of other places. And so I feel like they just really need to take a good look at that. Not that we have the money to like spend on this kind of stuff, but yet again, it's important, right?
Yeah. Do they even have homelessness in those places that you mentioned?
There is one that I saw where they said there's practically no homelessness whatsoever, but it's very systemic. Like it has to start at the top. There have to be lots of rules and, it has to be implemented, and looked after. People have to be manning it. So, and it seems like that's something our government doesn't really want. They just turn a blind eye to it, but that's obviously not working.
Yeah.
It's huge right now. I mean, I see a homeless person in Toledo. Well, they say they're homeless. I don't really know if they're homeless or not. They very well could be, but they're all standing there begging for money.
That's one thing. Do you ever look and say, what's their story? Is it real? Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they say it doesn't matter what their story is. It's about what you have in your heart and what you're doing. But I don't know. Like, it's just like, do you really want to contribute money to one that's in drug addiction? Right. Like, no, probably not. But I heard so many times where people will give them food and they disrespectfully throw it off to the side or throw it on the ground or don't want it.
No, they want the money. I mean, and there are some people that do want food. We're not saying there's not. It just seems to be not so often.
There is one here. I don't know if she still does it, and I don't know the specifics, but people have often said she gets dropped off in like a really nice SUV, and she then tries to collect money. And there's somebody, obviously, she's forced to do this and then collect the money and give it to them. Have you heard that story? That's all I know about it.
I have not heard that story, but I am a true skeptic in every way of everything. I do not give people money if I'm going to give money that I've worked hard for, that I probably still need as well. I have to know I'm giving it to where, it needs to be. So
I just thought of
the corner because they scare me.
I just thought of a good kind of like test we could do. I'm going to pretend that I'm homeless.
No, you're not.
And I'm going to go to a corner and see how much money, if people stop and give you money, or like what it's like in a day of doing that. I'm serious. I'm really curious to know.
I get you're curious, but there are people who have researched this already. And I think I saw something like they make like $32,000 a year. Like some of them, not all of them. But I remember reading a study about it, and they said that they make a really good living being a panhandler. But also, I don't even make eye contact with the panhandlers because I have guilt.
I don't
even look at you because I feel bad. And I don't know if I believe you or not. So I just turn the blind eye.
What about the ones that at least they'll come up and wash your windows and...
Oh my God, I always hated that.
I don't like that.
Touch the vehicle.
Don't touch the car.
People don't want their cars touched. I mean, one, especially if it's expensive, some people don't even let towels touch their cars. Everything brushless. So not everyone wants their car touched.
That is
thing.
true.
So no, I don't like that. And I don't think you should pretend to be a panhandler. I think that sounds so stressful.
Maybe we'll just go volunteer for the day at the Cherry Street Mission or to a program like that.
Yeah.
I would like to do that, though. I really would. I've never even been to a homeless shelter or anything.
I can't remember the name of it now. I'm going to have to look it up, but I volunteered packing food for Thanksgiving for a community center in the inner city. And it was super great. It was part of a United Way project that we did. And I think it's great. And I would have no problem donating my time to something like that. I just want to make sure, I'm safe. The people that are there with me are safe. Like, I would never want to be a bell ringer outside of Kroger. Like, Toledo's gotten a little strange. Like, that would not... Someone mentioned that to me. Like, we should ring the bell for the Salvation Army. As against Toledo? No thanks.
I don't know. I'd be afraid somebody would take my bucket.
Your bucket? I know. Like, I don't want to get shot for the Salvation Army bucket.
Right?
So, I don't know about that. Not even sure I should be saying these thoughts out loud. But we'll see how it goes.
Right. We have a right to our opinions.
That's true. I like it. So that's about all I have on mole people, but it is interesting.
Yeah, it is. Go watch some of the documentaries. I'm going to watch a few that I don't think I've seen.
Yeah, there were a couple that sounded good. I can't remember what one I watched to originally learn about the mole people, though.
Oh, yeah, I did forget that. So there's ancient underground cities. Did you know that?
Yes, I do love that.
Turkey. It's a city under the earth that once housed 20,000 people.
It's amazing.
And then there's a salt mine in Poland, and it's an underground salt mine turned into a museum with like sculptures and chapels.
I did read, I don't remember where it is. I think it was in Australia, and people used to mine opals in this Australian city. So all these people came in, they're trying to mine for opals. It's so hot. They're getting burnt alive, and they're like, I don't know what to do. So they start building in under the ground, and they ended up creating homes in the ground to live while it was just too hot above land. And I don't know when that took place or whatever. I just pulled that out of my hat right now. But it's really interesting. I mean, you have to adapt, right?
Yeah, you do, though, really.
Salt mines sound very interesting, too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. On another topic, I did find something interesting. Am I on the right notes? All right, I guess I didn't because I lost it. So
I guess I didn't find anything interesting. I love it.
Oh, other things with tunnels. That's it. Just, New York City gangs, and then, the U.S. does stuff under the tunnels, too.
It's nuts. I'm intrigued by that. Like, I don't want to be a mole person, but I would like to, be a mole explorer.
Yeah, and I'm totally switching the subject, but your apple cider vinegar fake documentary that's based on a real one, did you watch the actual documentary on Netflix?
Yeah.
See, I just watched that. I didn't realize they had a real documentary. That's
Maybe I didn't watch the real one. No, I watched the fake one, but they have a real one called the same thing?
No, it's not called that. It's called Zone Zero. No, that's something different. I can't remember, but it's her getting interviewed about lying about her cancers.
Did see the snippet of the real interview, and I'm looking like, just say it, bitch. Just fucking say it.
It tells where she's at now. Like, I don't know. She was trying to be some other type of, I don't know.
She's ruined it for herself.
She's so beautiful. Like, why did she even have to lie? Like, she could have been popular and did her thing without the brain cancer.
The attention. People are so attention-seeking. It kind of freaks me out.
Well, we'll have to delve into that another time.
I mean, we could even add, a little just snippet of what we just said with, a picture of it and say, you got to watch this.
Yeah.
As, a story, because we need to do more reels. And so if we are somehow able to clip that out and put it over a slideshow like you've been doing.
Yeah, that's what I've learned. You've got to get creative with your audio. So
yeah. So I think if we take, and that's what I mean about snippets sometimes, say, hey, we watched this, and just throw it out there with us just saying a few things about it.
I got to get better because I could do it on my own here. Like, there's things you could do, like 2-second snippets, but I don't like doing it, but I need you.
So let's just go back to that a little bit, because we could probably just say a few blurbs now and you can just pull together like the real documentary, like the look.
I know how to edit. Like,
where are you putting those together?
I use Clip Champ. Microsoft Clip Champ. Yeah.
Clip Champ.
Clip, not Clip.
Clip Champ. That sounds more complicated. Okay, I don't know how to use Clip Champ, but my husband does, so I'm going to have him show me.
It's easy. If I can do it, you
tried
can do
it. And I was like, I can't even get 2 pictures onto one thing. I tried.
I can show you too.
I must be fucking dumb. Couldn't do it.
Well, Tuesday, I'll probably see you, so.
Yes, definitely. I love that. Okay, so I think that's kind of a good idea. I'm going to write that down, like little clip with, what was that called?
Whatever my documentary is called. Because you could do like where you talk about both.
Yeah, I think so. Like you show that.
Maybe you like the fake, what is it called? The docu-series or the actual documentary.
Yeah, but they can watch both. That's what I kind of love. Like, it's the same thing as like reading the real book and then watching the movie. This, you're watching the real movie and then you're watching the fake. But it's still really interesting. So I think if we even just put pictures of like the cover of each one and then us just talking for a minute about it, like a second, and we're like, watch it, super interesting, psycho, or whatever.
Yeah,
she is. Attention whore?
She is definitely psycho, but she didn't really get in trouble though. She was ordered to pay
millions back,
and she's not paying anything back.
Yeah,
she's still. Yeah.
A lot of people get fined that stuff and never have to pay it. And I don't know how, but there was just another documentary about like someone, what do you call that? They were conning people out of money. They were scam artists and they had to pay people off and they just never pay a penny.
So it's called The Search for Instagram's Worst Con Artist. See?
All right.
That's her right there.
Yeah. All right.
Her own family doesn't even like her, it seems.
Yeah. I can't believe the guy stayed with her afterwards. She must be really attached to her son. So fucked up.
So crazy.
Yeah. But I think that's good. Plan on Tuesday. So, yeah. So she didn't say I had to work till 7, so I'm assuming it'll be early. So what time do you think you'll be coming?
You don't get off of work until what, 5?
I'm usually home by 5:30.
So you probably need a second to breathe. So I'll probably just come at 6, and she said 6:30.
Okay.
But I'm gonna reach out to her earlier that day just to make sure that we're still good.
Is this the Di Stefano's sister?
Or this is Pickleball.
Okay, cool.
It won't be long. It'll probably be 20 to 30 minute conversation.
Like more of just like a advertising blurb.
Yes, we're basically letting her tell us what it is, what it's about. And she did mention that they have a taxi, like water shuttle thing that eventually they're trying to fix.
Like the sand
to get you to like the Mud Hens from there or wherever you want to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. That'd be fun. I love it. You know how like in Cleveland, those like twins, one of the twins said something about the tiki bar? Like
that would be fun.
Why do we not have something like that here? Like, I mean, I guess I wouldn't have a place to store it and I don't want to have to buy it myself, but someone with a boat, that's a great idea. Some money maker all summer long.
Right?
Yeah, especially if they make it affordable. So you're welcome to whoever makes that tiki boat. It's a great idea. Go do it.
Shoot, I'd buy a regular boat and then rent it out.
Right?
To make it free.
Alexis is going on vacation to San Diego with Ezzy. And she told me there's some app. She rented a Maserati for 5 days for $200. But I guess it's like a legit app, but it sounds like it's not. And I was like, how cool is that? That's so funny.
Is she going by herself or does she know anything or anybody or is she just going and...
Just her and Ezra.
She
I
should
thought it was,
tell Lindsay's brother-in-law, I think, lives in San Diego.
I told her, I was like, oh, you should. I would right away. I said, oh, is that where Lindsay lives? And Ron's like, no, that's San
That's far
Francisco.
away.
And it was like, oh,
That's where she went for Christmas, though. She does have family
okay.
there. But yeah,
Yeah, so
I
I'm
hope
excited
she has.
for her.
I heard the weather there is amazing.
I bet she said they bought like a city pass so they can like go to the zoo and do like all these different museums and things. So it sounds fun. I was never brave enough. Like when I was a single mom with just Alexis, I didn't go on vacations like that. I was scared.
I'm scared to drive anywhere by myself, let alone go. I have had to fly by myself, though.
Oh, I've done that.
But I made Brian walk me all the way into where they send me to security. So,
oh, that's funny. I think it was when my dad died. And then one time after, I went by myself with just the girls to Texas. So one time we flew and then another time we drove. And I was so terrified driving to Texas by myself with the kids because I was like, I'm like a sitting duck. Someone's going to murder me. Knock on wood, they did not. But we would stay in like hotels. Like we stayed at the Drury Inn. Have you ever been to those?
no.
So when you go to the Drury Inn, it's like Grury.
I've heard of this.
Happy hours. And like at a certain time, they always have popcorn going. It's just cool. But then like, it's like a cult up in there because there's like usually Amish people everywhere. For some reason, the Amish love the Drury Inn. And I feel like I'm going to say something wrong. I sit there all prim and proper, like looking around, like don't do anything wrong. They're all going to come and get me. But it's weird, but it's kind of a cool thing. If you have kids, the Drury Inn is the way to go.
That's funny.
Because they do the snackies. But yeah, it's just totally weird. I guess the Amish people come to town like sometimes like once a year and they travel in like a big group to do this. And then they stay overnight at the Drury.
That's crazy.
That's what the Amish lady told me.
That's funny.
I never thought of, but I mean, why don't they have dentists in their area?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't understand that at all because I was like, it's not like they're living in like a desolate area where like there's no sign of life. You know what I mean? It's like they live in their towns. Like, why don't they see a dentist by their house?
Yeah. They got a lot of Mennonites and Amish up north by my dad's. We go to their bakery when we're there. Yeah. They do have some good baked goods, pies, bread.
Carbs poor. I love any carb. Get in my belly.
I'm about to eat some carbs.
I know. So when we go to, I've never been to Sauter Village, like not even with school, but
I did.
I think a lot of people did. I remember my dad going there, but he never took me, which is weird. It's like, what adults want to go there without their kids? Anyway.
Is that the camp that had the rooms that you could see that were decorated like their old rooms and they had teepees you could sit in with the class?
It was like an old colonial town. Yeah.
Okay.
Like where they make butter and apple butter and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm only going off of what people have told me because I've never been there.
You need to go. Well, when you were younger, I went as a field trip with a kid.
Yeah.
I forget. I think it was Jordan.
Cute. You went with your kids.
One of them. I forget which one.
I never really got to go on a lot of like trips. So I went on a few with Alexis and, you know, with Elena, I could do more, but it was hard as a single mom to go on those trips because you couldn't take time off work.
It's usually while you work. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So what I was going to say about it is there's a bakery in front of there and I don't remember what it's called, but when we go to the Sauter outlet, you know, like the Sauter furniture outlet is in front of it too, oddly enough. I don't know. Kind of weird. But there's a bakery next door and they make these things and I don't remember what they're called. I call them gobs, but it's like 2 chocolate cakes with a buttercream frosting in the center. It is fucking amazing. I will go and buy 2 dozen and put them in my freezer and just eat them for the whole year.
He was walking by. I kept seeing somebody walk by.
Oh, were you waving at him?
No.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Ron. It's funny. I think he told me that. I think he's in the bathroom and he yelled, I think they're moon pies.
I think I post, guess what my mom's eating for dinner today?
What?
Liver and onion.
That's disgusting.
Beef liver. Ugh.
Are you going to go get some?
Hell no.
Did anyone else eat that besides your mom and dad or just them 2 eat it?
I don't know. I didn't know my dad even ate it. I think differently of him now.
Well, he also eats like turtles and frogs.
Yeah, that
So,
stuff's all okay. Liver, I'll eat deer. I love butterflies.
is that what it's called?
Well, that's a special part of the
Like a cut.
deer. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the way deer smells when you're cooking it. It kind of smells sweet and meaty. It's gross. I don't like that.
My cousin ate a piece of raw deer that he killed. They dared him, and he ate it.
Can't you get sick from that? Because the parasite?
I think he might have got sick, maybe. I'll have to ask.
Do you know the Greek restaurants and kibbe? Do you eat raw kibbe?
Funny story. So I was first in real estate, and I went to lunch with this very professional broker, and I made the mistake. We went to, what's that place on Monroe Street, right there by Douglas and Monroe?
Douglas and Monroe. Biblos? No. Ron, what's the one place that we go to with Aunt Dar when she's in town? The Hummus? No, not Rumors. The other one.
The one on Monroe.
Fruit.
Yeah, yes. So we went there, and I said, you can order whatever, and he got the kibbe, and I did not know what it was, and I had to eat it.
You ate it?
I ate it and acted like I loved it. Not loving.
I would not. I totally would not have been able to do that. I'd be like, I made a mistake.
I ate it, and it was hard.
God, you take one for the team like all the time. Like, I don't know how you do it.
It looks like ground like bologna-ish, but tastes
with like
not like that.
Parsley in it and onion.
People love it though.
They do. I think it has like a little bit of lemon in it. Oh.
Well, he laughed. He must have known I didn't know what I was doing, because he's like, "Oh, you're supposed to eat it with like a cracker or some bread." I'm like,
what do you do? Like pick up a spoon?
Eat it raw. Yeah.
Oh my!
I had no clue. I was so nervous. Oh, that was bad.
I would have died before I ate that. No, probably. But
one time when I was actually pregnant with Jordan, and we went to my rich family in Perrysburg. They had a baby shower, and we're sitting at the table, and I'm with my whole family, and I see this white chocolate, and it's shaped like a rose, and I'm like, ooh, they give us chocolate.
Butter?
I put it in my mouth. Everybody follows. And we're trying to be professional. We're literally at some, where golf members go, really fancy.
Country club type of deal.
I was like, this is not chocolate. This is butter. Everybody was like, Sarah, what'd you do? Now we don't have our...
Sarah, you ate all the damn butter.
Nobody had their butter left.
What did they... Tina, you fat lord.
I think we all pretended
Napoleon
we didn't do it. My whole family was embarrassed because already they're trying to be like, we got to impress our family.
How old were you?
I was pregnant with Jordan, so I was 17.
That makes it even better. You're the best Toledo trashy ever.
Well, everybody else ate it, so they must have thought it was chocolate too. I was like, why'd they give us this one rose chocolate and then all these mints, like the mints you get that are chewy?
like melt in your mouth. I forget what they're called.
I don't think I've ever seen that family again.
Because you were 17 and pregnant and eating all the butter. It's so stupid. I love it. My God.
Oh, I wanted to get sick too because I didn't even notice, and I was pregnant, so it was horrible. And then I was like, they had cloth napkins. Like, I'm gonna have to spit this butter in my only cloth napkin.
I wipe my nose on those things at restaurants. You cannot give me a cloth napkin. I got a runny nose. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, and my makeup will be all over that.
I drink. Can I have a napkin? It's terrible. They shouldn't do that. It's too fancy. So that's my final story. I was trying to think if I had something else funny I could say that we could make a weird little Facebook, what do you call those, stories? Like a little story,
oh, yeah.
A little short with a business. We got
to think of things and then do it.
And do it.
Well, I loved the one where you had me say my mom, your mom.
I thought it was cute. Yeah. I'll have to look in my book. Because, we had quite a few. It's just hard to find good ones that work, Because not everything's funny or as funny as I think it is.
hilarious.
Thanks, Sarah. You are too. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else cool or crazy or weird, but I can't think of any right now, so I'll have to save it for Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff I wanted to tell you, then I forgot to, but I know how to get a hold of you. Even though you don't answer me. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Because Ron yells at me.
No, it's okay. It was his time.
Kidding. He doesn't yell at me. I was waiting to see if he was listening or not.
I see an ear. No, I'm just kidding.
You're very lucky. All right. Well, I will talk to you on Tuesday. Have a good rest of the night with your
Yes. I'm hungry. I can't
go eat. What we can do with this. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to go eat some butter. No, just kidding.
I know I have a million dumb things that I do that I could make fun of. I just can't think about it. Ron sometimes reminds me that when I eat mashed potatoes, I must smack them up against the roof of my mouth. He says, every bite you take, you make this face and do this thing. I'm like, I don't know. So maybe someday you'll have to take a video of me eating mashed potatoes so we can see what that looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of like how you have to eat your Kit Kat. I have to take every piece of chocolate off and then layer by layer take my things off.
On Kit Kats, I like to eat off the thick edges of chocolate all the way around. I feel like a flipping rabbit with my 2 buck teeth.
I do that with my peanut butter cups too.
Yeah. Exactly. Then
they last longer.
Tastes so much better once you get that excess chocolate off. You can savor the other.
Who doesn't like chocolate and peanut butter? They're crazy.
I know, Heather. Yeah, you got the one girl that's our top fan. Is her name Lainey?
Heather. Oh, Lainey. Yeah, Heather. Yeah. Heather. She didn't like.
She did. She probably did too. But Lainey freaking
whacked up. They're whacked up. Serial killers. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, how can anyone not like peanut butter just unless they're allergic to it? That just doesn't make sense.
I'll eat it by the spoonful. I used to like peanut butter and butter sandwiches.
In fact, we've been talking about peanut butter so much. I had a dream last night and there was peanut butter in it. And I don't remember why.
Do you remember the dog and that kid in 7th grade that there was rumors of what he did with the peanut butter and his dog?
He put the peanut butter on his pee-pee and made the dog lick it off?
Yeah.
Now, do you think that's just kids being fucking gross? Or do you think someone actually did that? I'm sure someone's done it.
I tried to think, if I was a guy and I
contemplated putting it on my toes and making my dogs lick it off.
That would just be gross. I couldn't do it because peanut butter on your fingers, if I get stuff on my fingers, I even hate it. It's too sticky. So
our dogs used to always lick my feet, and it was so weird.
We'll have to look what percentage of dogs.
Yeah,
dogs.
Dogs eat dogs. Don't say it again. So gross. Yeah, I don't know, but I wonder if that was true, and I also wonder who did it. Who really did it?
I forget the guy's name.
You knew who it was?
I thought you were in class with me. It was in 7th grade.
Well, we switched classes. I wasn't in every class.
No, you were in my reading class.
It wasn't reading class? Was it Matt?
No, it was
Charles?
Actually, I know who it was. Alan.
Can it?
Rhymes with Burley.
I don't think I know him.
You didn't know Alan Worley?
No, I didn't.
How?
I don't know.
That's who did it. Maybe not. We got to take that out.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to look it up. If you think it's probably true.
Actually, he's the one that said it about the kid that did it. I can't remember. Who was in our reading class that we could ask?
The only 2 boys I knew, I just said.
Jonathan. There was a Jonathan, wasn't there?
There was a Jeff. And he was kind of a strange ranger.
And now he's your family.
Is he? What are you talking about?
Maybe that's John. Just kidding.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now we're remarriage. A guy I went to high school with. That's hilarious. All I remember about him is music class on the top floor by the bell. You had to go up all those flights of stairs.
I was in band. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was making fun of me and I got mad and I pushed him and he flew backwards and smacked a bunch of desks and I just felt so bad. And that's the only memory I have of him from school. Now he's married to my cousin.
Oh, that's funny.
My older cousin, too. He went older.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I went.
Got himself a cougar.
I went younger, so I'm a cougar. We're exactly 3 weeks apart.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I'm 3 weeks older.
3 weeks older.
A lot wiser, though.
Yeah. Ron probably thinks he's wiser, too. I don't know.
You just let him think that way.
it's questionable. But yeah, so I mean, so the Jeff kid, I think his name was Jeff, and he was blonde, and he was kind of a little nerdy and really smart. I ended up running into him at prime time. Was it prime time on Alexis Road?
Club Sandwich.
I ran into him there, and he said he was a pilot, and he was wearing like a bomber jacket. It was probably one of the most uncomfortable things.
Are you sure it wasn't Eric? His name wasn't Eric? Eric Z.
Zimmerman?
No, Eric Z. Rhymes with Pintech.
No, it wasn't him. I really think his name was Jeff.
Jeff? I don't know any smart Jeffs.
Maybe he wasn't smart. He was just nerdy, like extra nerdy, and I thought he was smart. I don't know. Something happened, and he was just like aggressive and like pushy. And I just remember telling my friends, like, it's time to go. Like, I can't get away from this guy. I don't know. He was an odd duck. I honestly felt like he could have been a serial killer. Like, I was getting that kind of vibe. Like he's a Dexter or something.
Oh, gosh. That's creepy.
Maybe we can do a post. Like, do you know anyone that seems like a Dexter? If they're not.
Do you have a Dexter in your life?
Yeah. Send us that duck's picture.
Or the you guy. He was creepy. What? Wasn't it called You? Or what's that?
You. Yeah, You. I read that book. The book's a tough read, but the show was good.
All right, girlfriend.
I'll see you later.
See you.
Bye.